Hello class, welcome back to the second part of section 6.5. So I have already went ahead and sketched example 3. Hopefully use the table of values that I recommended, and you found all your y values, okay, and then you sketched it. So it should look like this. The zeros, so let's go ahead and figure out where our zeros are on this one. So here is 1, here is 1, here is 1, and here is 1. Okay, so there's a bunch of them. So what we could say is they're between, okay, got to remember we're going by twos here, so we're between the first one, if I wanted to, between 0 and 1. The next one is in between 1 and 2. Okay, this next one is in between 2 and 3. And then the one after that would be in between 4 and 5. Okay, so those would be my estimated values. And then my maximums, we could estimate kind of where our max values are. So here is 1, so that would be at x equals 2. Is there any other x values for this one? Or sorry, maximums. Nope, that would be our only maximum. Now we have 2 minimums. We could estimate what this one is. I don't know. Let's say it's like x equals 1. Okay, as an estimate, and for my next one would be x equals 4. These are all my estimated values. So remember, if you want to find them exactly on your calculator, this is how you do it. I'm going to walk you through one more time on how to do this, and then that will be it. Okay. So I have the function graphed on here. So if I want to find my zeros, okay, so I will go second, calc, which is above trace. My 0 is our number 2. Okay, so if I want to find this first 0, I would be to the left now, so I'd hit enter. Going down, I'm to the right. Okay, and I would hit enter, and then my guess. And it tells me 0.382. So my first 0, I'm going to write it over here. You can write it on your paper. X is equal to 0.382. Okay, so there's my first one. Let's go ahead and find the next one. So once again, second, calc, 0, so there we are. Now I'm left here, now to the right. Got to get above that x-axis, hit enter, enter. And my next 0 is 1.268. Okay. Then my next one, just moving along here, go to 2, 0, okay. Enter, enter. Okay, and my guess. And my next 0 is 2.618. That's my next 0. And then my very last one. Okay, I'm to the left a bit. Now I just have to go above it to be to the right. It's at 4.32. So x is equal 4.732. So those are my zeros. Now if I want to go ahead and find that maximum value, okay, my max, I'm going to go second, calc again. I'm going to do the maximum, which is the number 4. So go down to 4, hit enter. So I'm finding the max, so I need to be, it says left bound down here in the bottom left corner. So to be to the left of it, hit enter. To the right, hit enter. Enter again. Once again, now it tells me my maximum is 2.00004. So essentially what they're saying is my max is at the order pair 2, and when my y value is 2. So all you need to tell me for your max, I'm going to write it here, you can write it on your note sheet, is what x is. But if you want to tell me the order pair, that sounds great as well. Now let's go ahead. The last thing we need to do is do our minimums. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to calc. My minimum is number 3. Okay, so I'm going to be to the left of this one. So it says left bound. I'm to the left of it. To the right of the minimum. Now hit enter again. Okay, it tells me my minimum is 0.75. That's my x value, so that's all you really need. But if you want to tell me the y value too, that's fine. It's a negative 1.418. Okay, that's my min. And now I need to go ahead and find my last min. So same idea, number 3 for minimum. Enter. And then it tells me my last minimum is 4, -10, which is that is already what we had on our sheet. So that's how you could go ahead and double check all of them on your calculator. Okay. Example 4 now, let's go ahead and look at example 4. The average fuel in gallons consumed by individual vehicles in the United States from 1960 to 2000 is modeled by the cubic equation f of t, where t is the number of years since 1960. Okay. A says to sketch the graph of the equation. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I have already put this in my calculator, but here's my recommendation. I would like for you to pause the video and do so. And notice how your y-axis, or in this case your t-axis, goes by tenths. Okay? So for your table set, start at 0, okay, and then your delta table, we're going to go by tenths to make that 10. And I would like for you to graph this on your own. So pause the video, go do that on your calculator, and find all those values. So if you did this, you should get 0, and then you should get at 654. At 10, you should have gotten 711.5. At 20, you should have gotten 619. At 30 years, it was 526.5. And at 40 years, it was 584. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these. This is the fuel consumption. It goes on like that. So B says determine the turning points and the end behavior of the graph. Okay. Well, you could go ahead and if you do this on your calculator, okay, which I recommend that you do, you're going to go ahead and find your maximum value. So this value might not be exactly at 10 the way I drew it, but go on your calculator, and you should get this when x is 7.483. Okay. And my other turning point, so this one is a max, and my other turning point is my minimum. Once again, I would recommend you go on your calculator and do this. It's 32.517. This is a min. Then it also says and end behavior. So you need to determine the end behavior of the graph. So that means as x is going to -infinity, what's happening to my y values? And as x is going to +infinity, what's happening to my y values? Well, if I go ahead and look at my graph, as x goes to -infinity, so as we look to the left, my y values are going to keep going down, so they're going to -infinity. And if I look to the right, my y values are going to keep going up and up and up, so that one's going to infinity. So as x goes to -infinity, my y's go to -infinity. And lastly, as x goes to infinity, my y values go to infinity. And lastly, part C, okay, says what trends in fuel consumption does the graph suggest? Is it reasonable to assume that the trend will continue indefinitely? Okay, well, it's assuming that at this point, gas will always increase. That is not always true. There's times where gas goes up and gas goes down. So is it reasonable? No. At some point, the economy will drop and lower the price. All right, so that's going to be it for today. The biggest thing for today is being able to use your calculator, your graphing calculator properly. So make sure if you have questions about how to use your calculator, you ask me or Google whatever you're struggling with. There's tons of videos out there, whatever kind of calculator you have, you know, as long as it's a graphing calculator, look online, find a video that will help you. Or just ask me, I would gladly help. So there you go. Have a nice day, and I will see you.